everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm flying to Daytona Beach, and you're coming along with me. Let's get right into it. My 5-year-old aircraft is ready for boarding at gate D6 at the world's busiest airport, and I couldn't be more excited about it. There's always something new to discover on every flight. Today we'll be using the call sign Delta 2489. All right, I'm headed to the back of this 737-900 series. 32 Foxtrot has got 2 windows. I'm excited about this. Now we're talking. And right away, I got to see some nice ramp action as this 3-year-old Spirit A320neo pulls into the gate next door. I think we matched today. I love the bright yellow color of a Spirit Airbus, but I rarely fly them since the Miramar, Florida-based airline doesn't fly to many of the places where I need to be. But if Spirit is on the ground or in the air, my camera is out for this photogenic livery. This video is partly about colors, and by the way, did you notice the pink background in the introduction of this video? That's a little bit of a hint of what's to come later on. For now, from the back of this airplane, I'm enjoying the view of all the departures taking off to the west, the direction that we'll be taking off in a little bit. Our 737 is being prepped for departure out of Atlanta. Passengers are boarding, bags are loaded, and we're being fueled up for our hour-long flight. We'll be out there soon. Once the ramp is clear of other planes like the CRJ-900, we'll taxi out and head east. We'll proceed in the direction of this KLM 777, which just landed and is headed toward the international terminal. Well, it's time for pushback now. The ramp is clear and the ramp controller has issued us clearance to push back by tug. We need to get to this point, the marker on the ground with the letters 4S. This is the edge of ramp number 4 on the south side of the ramp. Let's start moving backwards. We're now ready to contact ground control.
Ground Delta 2489 for Sierra Wood Uniform.
2489, landing ground, good evening. Runway 27 right, Lima Charlie.
27 right, Lima Charlie. Delta 2489.
Lima and Lima Charlie are the taxiways we'll need to take to runway 27 right, but before talking more about that, let's look out for and listen to a British Airways flight with a Speedbird call sign, also on taxiway Lima.
Speedbird 710 Gulf Heavy, give way to a Boeing 737 exiting ramp 4.
70, sir, give way to the Boeing 737 coming down the ramp 4, Speedbird 710 Gulf Heavy.
This British Airways flight just arrived from London and is approaching where we are, and we've got priority, so the ground controller told the British Airways flight to give way to a 737 exiting ramp 4. That's us. The British Airways flight must wait for us to leave the ramp before it continue its taxi to its terminal to terminate its transatlantic flight. Okay, now back to us as we continue along. We were told to take taxiways Lima and Lima Charlie. Taxiway Lima parallels runway 27 right all the way, and taxiway Lima Charlie, or LC, is the taxiway we'll turn right on to enter the runway. We won't be using the runway's full length today. Taxiway Lima Charlie is just the 3rd taxiway from the end of the runway, and the runway is over 12,000 feet long, so we'll have more than enough available runway to take off on. Taxiing in this direction provides me with great views of departing aircraft off our departure runway, and out in the distance is a very special treat, a rare Magma 747 cargo plane. Magma is a European cargo handler. As we get closer to taxiway Lima Charlie, we're told to switch to the controller responsible for the runway itself. We'll continue along until we hear the tower controller tell us to line up and wait.
The 2489, monitor tower 123.85.
2385, Delta. 2489.
So now we're just monitoring the tower frequency, listening to the tower issue takeoff clearance to other flights ahead of us, and that includes Air France Flight 689 to Paris.
Air France 689 Heavy are now profile runway 27 right, Clipper takeoff.
Yes, I'll take off 27 right, that's from 689.
Does Air France Flight 689 sound familiar to you? If so, maybe because I recently flew on it. Check out my video from this flight from December 26, 2022. If you haven't seen it, you'll want to. It was a great flight because the plane was equipped with cameras, so I got to experience the flight from many unique perspectives. Why can't all airlines do that? Here's that exact flight departing today. Just think that we'll be in the air in just a few short moments. With its large footprint and separately grouped runways, this is an extremely efficient operation. If you've been watching my channel recently, you've seen that I haven't really experienced any taxiway delays at this mega airport. As we get closer to the runway, the tower issues the aircraft in front of us takeoff clearance, and we're told to line up and wait at taxiway Lima Charlie.
So the 2489 tower, runway 27 right, Lima Charlie, line up and wait.
27 right, Lima Charlie, line up and wait, Delta 2489.
Let's get on this strip. We are actually going to be issued takeoff clearance right away, and we'll start our takeoff roll without stopping. The aircraft in front of us that was issued takeoff clearance is rapidly rolling down the runway, increasing its speed. We will not be issued takeoff clearance until that aircraft is actually airborne. Sometimes the tower controller will have traffic that just landed to the south cross our runway, but that won't happen now. The controller will remind us that we need to follow the RNAV procedure to SLAW. This points us west after takeoff in the general direction that we're headed on the runway. Once we reach SLAW, we can begin a series of left-hand turns to the south to where our destination is. I always enjoy sitting on the right-hand side of the airplane when we're making a right-hand turn onto the runway so that I can see the runway itself. Let's get that clearance for takeoff from the tower now.
Delta 2049, RNAV to SLAW, runway 27 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, RNAV SLAW, Delta 2489.
Delta 2141, contact departure 13347. Have a good night.
Frequency for Delta 2141?
3347.
3347, Delta 21.
Good night. Delta 176, heavy tower, runway 27 right, Lima Alpha, line up and wait. And departure frequency tonight is 13347.
13347, line up and wait, 6 to the right, Delta 157.
We're about to leave the control area of the tower controller and get handed off to the departure controller.
Delta 2489, contact departure 13347. Have a good night.
3347 is all, Delta 2489.
From here, we continue along in a series of left turns on what's known as the Varsity 3 departure. Once southeast of the airport, we'll proceed towards northeastern Florida. This map shows our initial flight path. As we progressed further and climbed higher, we flew over Warner Robins, and a pink light on the ground immediately caught my attention. This seemed to be an oddity. It was almost as if the setting sun somehow was reflecting on the ground, but looking back with the sun below the horizon and this flight being high in the sky, it just didn't seem likely. I was fascinated by this and immediately began to do some research, as I had never seen anything like this before. What was that pink light? It turns out that the light was emanating from a greenhouse in Peach County, Georgia. Off of Highway 96, outside the central Fort Valley area, the Pure Flavor greenhouse uses lights at night to help their indoor crops. Of course, during the day, the greenhouse harnesses the power of the sun, which explains its glass roof. But to help with the growth of the crops, lights are used at night, and it's clearly and brightly visible from the night sky. This is Waycross, Georgia. Population 14,000. What a great night for looking out the window. That is, before the flight attendants put on the cabin lights to prepare for landing. I can't see out. Such poor timing because we're coming up on Jacksonville as we begin our descent down to Daytona Beach. Hopefully these lights will come off soon. Here's a close-in view of the terminal of the Jacksonville International Airport. And alas, the cabin crew are done with their final safety checks so I can see outside with no reflection. Hello, Jacksonville. St. Augustine. As we descend under the control of the Jacksonville Air Route Traffic Control Center, we're told to contact Daytona Airport Approach Control. Let's check in.
Approach Delta 2489 with Alpha Thor, sending via 43.
Delta 2489, Daytona approach altimeter 3016, continue present heading, vector visual approach 7 left, descend and maintain 4000.
Present heading 3016 down to 4000, Delta 2489.
We checked in on the arrival procedure and got clearance all the way down to 4,000 feet. We're also told that we'll expect a visual approach to runway 7 left. I'll speed up the parts where the controller is not talking to us, but I'll come back once we have a transmission for us. While still in this heading, we're now going to get cleared to 1,600 feet.
Delta 2489, descend and maintain 1,600.
When you do this, hit down 1,600, Delta 2489.
Since we'll be making a left-hand turn to line up with the runway, the controller is going to give us a slight right-hand turn to prepare for the left turn.
Delta 2489, turn 20 degrees right, vector for descent.
20 right vectors, Delta 2489.
Winston to Daytona.
Now it's time for a left-hand turn to prepare for a base leg.
Delta 2489, turn left heading 140.
Left turn 140, Delta 2489.
November 0 Charlie X-ray, cleared Rick Royce, flat plan route.
Rick Royce, back to route, 90 Charlie X-ray.
Number 1 Bravo Bravo, contact Orlando approach on 124.8.
24.8, 1 Bravo Bravo.
Late 16, turn left heading 010.
Cross 160, 70. Right 56, cross 160. 171.
Late 16, left turn heading 010.
010 over there.
Now that we're close to the airport, the controller asks the pilot if he has the airport in sight.
Delta 2489, Daytona, 10 o'clock and 10 miles.
We're looking for it now, Delta 2489.
The pilot should be able to see the airport off the left-hand side of the aircraft. Unfortunately, with me being on the right-hand side of the airplane, there's no chance for me to locate the airport. Remember, it is dark outside, and I don't think the pilot was able to actually see the airport visually, so he comes back on the radio and asks if he can be cleared for an instrument landing system approach to the runway.
And approach Delta 2489. Can we clear ILS 7 left?
2489, turn left heading 090, intercept the localizer.
There's a intercept localizer, Delta 2489.
Well, that was approved quickly. Even though the pilot was anticipating flying a visual approach to the runway, he still has programmed into his systems the ILS approach to the runway just in case he needs to fly it at the last moment. And of course, in this case, with the runway not being in sight, the only way to go in for him tonight would be the instrument landing system process. At this angle, we'll now get clearance for the approach.
2489, 3 miles from Fort Lake, maintain 1,600 total established, cleared for the ILS 7 left.
Clear ILS 7 left, Delta 2489.
Hold quickly.
Turn out the 15 degrees right if you need to, Delta 2489 for the wind correction.
2489, thanks.
Delta 2489, tower now 120.7, good day.
16. 20.7, Delta. 2489. Follow the south heading up.
Let's check in with the tower.
At tower Delta 2489 inside of full, 7 left.
Delta 2489, Daytona Tower, runway 7 left, clear to land, multiple aircraft in right traffic for the parallel runway.
Clear to land, 7 left, look for the traffic, Delta 2489.
Delta 2489, left turn, taxiway November 7, continue to parking via November, this frequency.
Left turn November 7, continue via November parking, Delta 2489.
It's our pleasure welcoming you to Daytona, where the local time is 9:18 p.m. Please remain seated for your seatbelts fastened and your carry on reset until the aircraft is parked to the gate and the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign. Please be careful when opening overhead bins as items may have shifted during landing. In the next few moments, you may receive an email from Delta. We use your responses to continue to improve your travel experience. On behalf of Delta and this Orlando-based crew, we've enjoyed having you on board and look forward to seeing you soon. Have a wonderful evening here in Daytona Beach, or our travels may take you.
All right, I've made it to the Daytona Beach International Airport. Thank you so much for watching this video. Remember that if you're not a subscriber to my channel, I invite you to click on the subscribe button below, hit the bell button, hit the like button, and I'll be back with many more videos like this. Thanks everybody, and see you soon.